The end is nigh, or in sight, depending on your state of mind. It's Friday, thank goodness. This is the week that was. I'm Simon Brown, my co-host, Giulietta Talevi, and joining us, freshly hitched, Vestact's bright Khumalo. Congrats on all.
For a little wedding ring.
Thank you.
I didn't even think about that. Fancy. And fancy shirts. And
Fancier pants.
Well, I'm going to a year-end function after this, so I know you guys think I don't have designer stuff, so this is designer.
Oh, so you dressed for the year-end function, not for the...
I do dress up, but like I can't like come here with Balenciaga, you know. I have to come here with a shirt.
You have to be sober.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough, and it is a year-end function. And it's a year... I was actually having a look today, and we'll do an annual wrap next week. The markets, certainly, I mean, US, we know they've been stonking. Even South African markets, little Sanlam, little Aspen, 30% here, 30% there. There's been some money, unless you were in PGMs.
Actually, I'm going to say what our broker in New York actually said. He said, you guys are doing really well. You know, he obviously was talking about returns. But I think this applies to any fund manager or any active manager out there. If you are not in the right stocks post-COVID, you're actually not doing as well as those who are actually in the right companies.
Yeah.
Because we were like, no, man, everyone who stayed the course during COVID and actually, backed themselves and backed their stocks, they actually done pretty well. I said, no, they done okay. But if you're in the right stocks and you know most of the returns are coming from the Magnificent Seven, offshore, I'm sure we have a version locally.
Well, locally it's boring seven. It's Standard Bank, it's Aspen, it's Sanlam.
Then you miss the rally. Yeah. And it's sad. I mean, if you're in those stocks, you're probably up double digits. And if you're not in those stocks, I don't know if I've made the case for active investing here.
Well, look, if you're in Implats, you're down 66%. Thank
Boom.
you.
If you're in Sibanye, if you're in...
50.
Exactly. You know, it goes on.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's either you're up a lot or you're down a lot. So active investing is not easy either.
Just on the gold price, because it did hit a record this week, and then very quickly retraced from that. Do you think that's the last blowout? Because that does tend to happen. Gold's kind of, it heads to a peak and then it subsides. And the moment it subsides is when everyone gets into the gold shares and they're probably a little bit late.
I don't know if it's the last sort of, I mean, gold bulls are always
last hurrah.
Yeah, but they're always trying to recruit in different corners of the markets to those who are unsuspecting and new. But I don't think that's, the last surge of gold. I'm not saying I'm a gold bull or anything here, but I'm just saying it will ebb and flow the same way crypto, for example, is ebbing and flowing. I mean, I blinked and, crypto is almost more than doubled year to date. And if you look at the full 1 year chart, it's up close to 200%. It's beating everything else you can think of. And no one is talking about that because, everyone sort of burnt their fingers with crypto and forgotten about it.
Well, because you could have just gone and bought an NVIDIA.
There's that too. Competition for your money. This is what I always say when we talk about, the opportunities you can use your cash for. Rather do it, rather invest on things that you understand and strategies that you can sleep, knowing when they're down that actually you still believe in them.
We are going to talk about the markets next year, but I mean, what are the resurgence of crypto and gold saying? Because surely there's a certain element
risk on, so people sort of...
Risk on or risk off?
Well, there's different things. Crypto says risk on, gold says worried about recession.
So, well, I think it's two things because people have forgotten what happened during COVID. So, they're taking the little money they have and they're putting it in the stock market and hoping for the best because they're seeing, like you're saying, FOMO from the Magnificent Seven and the NVIDIAs and the likes. And on the other hand, the older, more conservative guys that we've seen, for example, I'm going to use Rupert here, who've been buying the spiders, the gold spiders in particular. So, that tells you they're being very cautious, very defensive. So you can say people who have the high net worth, that's what they're doing with gold, and people with, trying to build their net worth are putting risk on. So those are two different trades.
Well, also making news this week, GDP growth goes backwards, gold's on a roll. As we said, British American Tobacco has just puffed away 25 billion big ones, and Eskom has a new CEO within spitting distance. Eric Ellerine Barzat, COP28 is as farcical as you can imagine. The ANC has embraced the disastrous NHI. And speaking of that party of thieves, Mavusa Mzimang, arguably one of its most loyal and impressive struggle stalwarts, has quit in disgust. Will Fikile and Cyril pay attention, or is this just a new kindling for more bluster? This is actually a very big deal. Perhaps almost as big a deal as Ezulwini Investments trying to liquidate the party and attach its assets. But and you can see someone who has spent 6 decades with this political party, fighting the struggle, to so publicly announce his resignation from it in a very eloquent and sort of despairing letter. Should really cause the ANC to have a bit of soul searching, if anything.
Yeah, someone said on Twitter.
I think
you might have seen this, Simon. You know, the ANC members. No, I think someone outside the ANC said, you know, you guys need to choose between champagne for yourselves or water for the people, and they just pop that champagne, and that's exactly what's happening. And the people that have the right mind are leaving and joining other parties, or maybe just sailing to the sunset and leaving these guys who are delusional, clearly, to, I don't know, hold on to this little power that they have left. Because I mean, for the last it's not going to be forever. I mean, go check the polls currently; they're not looking good.
And that's just it. I mean, it is that hold on while you possibly can. And we've had other resignations before, and maybe not as eloquent as this, but I mean, even Mbeki's laid into the party before. And Bantu Alamisa remind us why he got kicked out, because the TRC in 97 or 98, he exposed corruption and they kicked him out, rather than deal with corruption.
For me, actually, what is so telling is that the resignation letter is it is eloquent. It's eloquent, and it comes from a place of, I suppose, good intentions. He talks about the endemic corruption at the heart of the ANC's DNA now, and
remember, to get rid of that, you would want to, you know, burn the whole ship and start afresh. And currently, you can't do that with the current individuals there. You're talking about Fikile Mbalula and Cyril Ramaphosa. I don't know, man. You need new faces. You need a new party.
But I don't know if you're going to get the sort of the sense of honor that the elders or a lot of them had, and it's met with bluster. It's met with. You know, it's just grist for more hot air and denials, or as he says, you know, you cast slurs on people trying to get you to improve.
Do the right thing. Just people are saying, just get. I don't know why we're even talking about it. It feels like, I don't know.
But you said it. The party's over. You got to burn it down. There's no saving the ANC, and that is a sad, sad indictment on them. But there is no more.
It's a sad reality, and all the good members of the ANC who could do something, and they've left and started their own parties. I don't know about the success of those parties or anything.
Sure.
But people with, you know, a small little logic in their heads are like, I don't want to be part of this.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone with, you know, real brains would want to be part of that either.
No. Talking of politics, Paul Mashida says things have definitely got better for the country under the ANC's 29-year rule. We're really not sure the numbers agree. There's unemployment, a world first, waterworks, now almost half of which is undrinkable or lost, and GDP growth, which is a bit of a misnomer. Our recovery from the pandemic has in fact been amongst the worst in the emerging world, with GDP just 0.3% above its pre-pandemic peak. Thank you, Transnet.
Mining, manufacturing, and all of that is unfortunately weighed down so much by being heavy industry. It relies a lot on logistics. So there's your Transnet problem in the ports and the railways. It's a very expensive part of the economy to be in, because not only do you have to pay for trucking and fuel, but you also have to pay for wages. And you've got trade unions who aren't always the most agreeable, but at the same time, you've also got the energy constraints. You've had to do a lot to try and avoid that and get around it. If you compare that, financial services, retail, this is what we call the tertiary sector. I mean, this has always been the darling of the economy. Why? Because this is very much private sector led.
Minus 0.2%. Truthfully, even if it was plus 0.2%, it's just not even
scratching the surface.
Not even close to being enough.
And we're an emerging country. You know, this is where we're supposed to be growing between 2 and 4%. And coming out of COVID, we should be growing between 4 and 8%.
Yeah.
So I don't know where that's going to come from if Cyril Ramaphosa and his friends don't want to fix this economy. I mean, what decision has he made that's actually done anything? Like, what has...
Well, he opened electricity, but I got to say, that's the only one that I can think of.
Like,
you can now produce your own power.
I'm pretty sure, like, so many proposals have come to his table and is still thinking about all of them, I don't know,
Consulting.
8 years later.
The Transnet issue, if they can fix that, if they can get, and if they can do it with any degree of haste, that would have
happened
a
under his watch
profound,
also.
I know, but it would have a profound impact on GDP. I think it was the Gain Group. They put out a paper in September saying that our GDP growth would have been 10 times what it has been if Transnet were working at a sort of a close to optimal level,
So,
which is
so
about
10
5%.
times, so
2%. That's the
2%.
number. Yeah, so 10 times more is 2, yeah.
Yeah.
well, okay, I was trying to be naughty there. -3
Yeah,
multiplied by 10.
no.
Yes. Okay. No. In terms of fixing the logistics of South Africa, like, you know, our locomotives, like you're saying, Transnet and the likes, of course, that's low-hanging fruit by far. They need to, you know, rehaul, redeploy, you know, cadres that are not working and put people who are actually serious about their jobs there. I mean, I know some of the goods that are coming in and out are making way through, alternative transport. You're talking about trucks here, but that destroys your roads, you know, and some of the things can't be transported using those trucks, like some of the big minerals, which are, you know, it's been, when they're up, they can, you know, help with the economy quite a lot in terms of, you know, the fiscus. But I don't know, man, fix Transnet, you're 10% there.
Passenger rail service got their train to Cape Town going. Guess what happened? Got to Wellington. Couldn't go any further. Cable stolen. Got in a bus. And that is legit. The first train to Cape Town didn't make it to Cape Town.
Oh, was that the train being celebrated on Twitter this morning?
Yes, yes, yeah. That's the good news we have.
What did the finance bar go say? The bar is set so low in South Africa that you
Yes.
can literally tiptoe over it. We
Snail.
celebrate mediocrity. We celebrate just a slow train running rather than aerospace, say. Well, the presidential blow-up doll has been rather busy spreading his particular brand of vacuous platitudes this week, which is bad news for anyone hoping he'll apply his mind to that awful NHI bill that unsurprisingly sailed through the National Council of Provinces on Wednesday. Still, the old squirrel can at least get out his set of stamps and approve a new Eskom CEO, tipped to be Dan Marokane. Here's Ramajeli on the sidelines of COP28.
The appointment of people at Eskom. That is going to happen, and once that happens, then it's not only the CEO who must be appointed, there are quite a number of other people who must be put in key positions to reposition our energy generation company. So that is going to happen, and we are going to continue with all the actions we need to take to restructure Eskom, so that we reposition it into 3 entities so that it can work more effectively.
Oh, yeah, just produce some power. But Dan Marokane is believed to be on the cusp of being announced CEO. I did see
Is
someone...
that good news or is it bad news?
I don't
I'm
know.
not sure
Is
anymore.
Eskom solvable? Is it Eskom not
But
like
I have one
ANC?
question. How is the president not aged? Usually every president that starts, there's a beginning and the end. You can see the hair change, the facial. He's not worried about this country. He doesn't care a damn.
No.
Usually it'll be a compliment
Because
when
he
someone
sleeps.
says,
So let's be
you're
clear.
not aging.
Because he sleeps in a bath full of dollars. And a couch and a bed and
Yes, it is a very
With
good
no
point.
worries.
no worries what.
He looks incredibly sort of, you know, even he looks as the plastic surgeons would say, rested.
Yeah, he's well
And he
rested.
shouldn't be rested. He's the president of South Africa. After the break, it's all happening on the company's front. Stay with us.